Season 3 then of our Youth Academy Challenge with Pogon over in Poland begins today, and yes, we've technically taken a backward step when it comes to finishing in the league, because last season we only finished second place. The season before we obviously won the league. We are still up the right end of the table, and that is always good. Because it is Season 3, we have to lock in 3 of our youth players, and that is 3 players that have come through our youth intakes, and luckily for us, we've had 2 very good intakes so far. Are we going to have a third one today? You're going to have to stick around and find out. Because we finished only in second place in the Ekstraklasa last season, we have not qualified for the Champions League, and because somebody else, I want to say Rook, qualified for the Europa League, we are in the Europa Conference League qualifying rounds. We're up against AEL of, I'm going to say Cyprus. It is Cyprus in the first round that we have to play. We've also got a friendly cup, apparently. That's not a thing that we care about. So it's only the Ekstraklasa, the Europa Conference League, and the Polish FA Cup that we're really interested in this season. I don't think we're going to do too well in Europe. I'd love to win the league and the FA Cup again. That'll be good. Because it is the 1st of July, the transfer window has opened. We've got rid of some players already. Benedikt Zech, a player who I mentioned last episode, now at 34 years of age, he has moved on. He has signed for SCR Altash in his native Austria. In fact, he's gone back to Altash. We've also had this Iranian left and right back in our second team for a couple of years. He signed for a team called Tractor. That's not a real team, surely. Tractor Sport Club. I've never heard of them. And young defender Dominic Gill has also left the club on a free transfer, staying in Poland this time around. He's only played 3 times for our first team, so we weren't going to miss him. Also, there's some players that have been released. I don't think any of them are of any real interest. Some of them have had a few games here or there, but for the most part, these were kind of under 21s, not under 21s, but second team players who we never really saw. This guy scored a goal. No, he conceded a goal, didn't he? He's a goalkeeper. They don't score them often. Because we're not really buying anybody, we have got a huge amount of money to spend. £17.8 million. We've got £250,000 wage budget. We're only spending £70,000 a week. We've got a huge amount of funds to spend, but we are not going to do that this season. Maybe. We might bring somebody in, but I'm not quite sure yet. And before we jump forward to September, where the transfer window closes, we have had some conversations with the board already, and they have agreed to improve our youth recruitment on the 2nd of June. And then literally a couple of days ago in-game, they've also agreed to improve our training facilities and youth facilities. That's massive. That is absolutely massive. It's cost us about £2.5 million to spend as well, so it's not really a huge amount of money. So we are steadily making our club better when it comes to facilities. We do need to get the training facilities up. The youth facilities are good. We need to get those up, and the junior coaching needs to come up as well. We've got exceptional youth recruitment, which is great, but everything else is kind of average at the moment. Just to let you know as well, the youth facilities was something the board suggested we do. I didn't actually request this. I think I did the junior coaching budget, and they said no. But they went, hey, you can have the youth facilities, so sure, we're doing that instead. Right, let's jump forward then to the start of September, when the transfer window will have closed, and let's see what transfer business we've done. A quick glance at the finances will show that our transfer budget has increased by about £5 million, and we're actually now spending even less of our £250,000 a week wage budget. Some business has taken place. 4 players have left the club on permanent deals, and 2 of them have got M's. Millions of pounds have come our way. We've sold Kaluris. First of all, he has gone over to Gornik for £625,000. For £300,000, we've sold Parziak. He has gone over to Lech. For £1.9 million, we've sold Leonardo Kutris, who basically became our second choice left back because Baniak basically replaced him last season. He was locked in. He's moved over to Jagiellonia, might be their name, for £1.9 million. That is a big bit of money, but he's not our most expensive sale. That would be Adrian Prizborek. He has moved over to Inter Milan and has been loaned back for the rest of the season. He's gone for £2.5 million. It was good money for a player who we were playing. He did get a lot of games, 20 appearances, scoring 10 goals, but he's not technically come through our youth system. He's come from a different team, and it is this team here, so I feel like it's kind of cheating if we force play him any more than we have, so I'm okay with taking this money. We've also brought in 3 more players from Dam, and if you watched last season, you know exactly who we brought in. Ricard Mora is the first one. He's come in on a free transfer, because the moment he turned a certain age, I want to say 17, but I feel like it's not, they get released from the club. So Mora got released from Dam. We've picked him up on a free. He's a good player. Miguel Angel Tobela has also been picked up from Dam on a free transfer, because at the end of his contract. He just left, and we managed to pick him up for free. And Mark Idris has also joined from Dam. We did have to pay for Idris for some reason. I don't know why we did, but we had to pay £7.75 thousand, which is absolute peanuts. All of these players are basically getting dropped straight into the second tier team, although Mora might be getting some first team football. Tabella, I don't know. I'm not convinced on Tabella at the moment. Mora's probably the best of those players. So we brought in £5 million. We've spent £7.75 thousand. And what does that mean for our formation? So we do need to play 3 starred players, and this is what we're going to go for. In left back, we are sticking with Gregor's Baniak, who is wanted, and there was some interest. Piast wanted him on loan. That we had some bigger interest than Piast. I think Inter Milan and AC Milan actually wanted Baniak, which we managed to kind of fend those off for now. He is going to be our left back. We're going to stick with Goralski as that attacking midfielder. He's getting very, very good. Still only 16 as well. And then the new player joining the ranks for this season is Christoph Mucha, who is not a natural left winger at the moment, but will be within a few weeks' time, because basically he's going to play there every single game of the season until he gets injured. We do also have 5 other starred players in our first team. So our assistant manager, who is Dennis Bergkamp, by the way, can pick to play any of these players. Already you can see Sebastian Wilk, at 15 years of age, has come off the bench once and scored a goal in the league. We've also got Wolski, who has played a couple of games, started one, come off the bench once as well, probably in centre-back. We're also 7 games into the season, and we are currently sitting top of the Ekstraklasa, 16 points on the board, but Legia and Craiova also have 16 points as well. We, however, have a positive 15 goal difference. I don't know how we managed to win some games by ridiculous scorelines, but we've scored 7 goals in the space. 7 goals against Cracovia, 7-2 there, 7-3 against Slask. Then in the Europa Conference League, a 7-0 win as well. We score goals. We definitely score goals. Defensively, that might be part of our problem, but that's fine. We will hopefully be getting better players. Klakowski, he's not technically a youth player of ours, but he's scored 6 goals in 4 starts in the league. Why are you starting up front? Have we had an injury? Has Zahovic been injured? Because I imagine you should probably be our number 1 striker. Yeah, okay, you missed some games. That's fine. That makes a lot more sense. As well as the Ekstraklasa, obviously Europa Conference League, we have made it into the group stage. We are currently bottom because we haven't kicked a ball yet, and obviously we are in the Polish FA Cup. We enter in the second round, which is not right now. Pogon 2, though, will be playing a team called Polonia Sroda Wielkopolska. Might be their name. Not quite sure why I even tried to say it. Right, next up then, jumping forward to about the 1st of April, where we get our youth intake, and we'll take a look to see what players we have in our squad and who's come through our youth intake this year. So for a 3rd season in a row, we have another excellent intake of youth players. Now, I do need to explain this though. A 5-star or 4.5-star intake for a team like Pogon does not mean we've got a whole bunch of Leo Messis in our youth intake. What it means is we've got players who are good enough or better than our current squad. So if our current starting 11 has an ability of, say, 110 out of 200, some of these players might have 120 or above potential. That's kind of what we're looking at here, which is still pretty good. 4 players then I have earmarked for success, which might not succeed at all, but we've got Michael Saigan at 16 years of age, central defender. This one I'm the least convinced about, but he was in the top list of best players, so we've kind of flagged him, mainly because he's a centre-back. In central midfield, who's probably going to have to get retrained to be a defensive midfielder, is Lukas Gzenko. He looks alright, doesn't he? He's got some decent-ish mental numbers. 18 aggression is, I guess, quite good. Teamwork of 16 is good. Work rate of 13 is good as well. Obviously, it's still very early days. Another striker joins the ranks in Marius Stepien, who's still only 15. He'll be 16 all the way in the late end of the year in November. 14 finishing looks quite promising. Physically looks actually quite good with his acceleration and pace of 15 and 14. I think Stepien could be quite a good player to have. But somebody who I think might be better is Jan Kmisik? Kmisik might be his name, not quite sure. We're going to call him Kmisik. Sure. 14 finishing, once again, physically not as good, but much more well-rounded when it comes to his physical numbers. Everything apart from his strength between 11s and 13s. 6'4", he's a big lad as well. Well, mentally, got some good numbers there. 17 bravery is quite an interesting thing for a player who's 6'4". If we can get his heading up from 9 to something, he might be scoring a lot of headers. Now, just because I've only marked those 4 players as star players does not mean those are the only ones that I think are going to be any good. I just don't think I want to be playing any of the other players. For example, if we take a look at this guy here, he's okay, but do we need another left winger? Probably not. Is he going to be much better than what we currently have? Maybe, but he is a mercenary. I mean, maybe we put a star against this guy. I'm not going to do it, though. As we head towards the end of the season, we are going to take a look at everything that is going on as well, though. So we are top of the league by 14 points. I think we are effectively everything but champions. We've had a ridiculously good season by the looks of it. 14 points at the top of the table, positive 53 goal difference in 26 games. That is ridiculous. Europa Conference League, we did manage to get through the group stages, but eventually got knocked out by St. Gallen in the round of 16. So, where did we finish? We finished second. We won all 6 Europa Conference League games, beating Sheriff, Tavarna, Karabag, Dinamo, Lillestrøm and Celje. So lots of big scores as well. That is obviously very good to see. So we then moved in to play St. Gallen, where we lose 9-7. What is this? What is this nonsense? If we could defend, we'd be the best team in the world. And the Polish FA Cup, we are still in it, and we are up against a third division side. A third tier side in the FA Cup. How are they in that far? That's a third tier side, right? I'm not making that up. Because we've got 2 divisions, right? If we go here, we've got the Polish First Division and the Ekstraklasa. So that, how? And you're a second tier side. So in theory, it's going to be Lech versus Pogoń in the final, because everyone else should have been knocked out by now. Anyway, we're now going to jump forward to the end of the season. I've just seen Goralski is our top goal scorer with 27 goals. We're going to see how well he has done come the end of the season as well. So let's jump forward to around June time, I think. So there is confirmation then. Runaway champions of Poland. 3 defeats in the entire season. 2 of them against Wisła Kraków as well, who finished in 10th. Okay, 5 draws, 26 wins, positive 63 goal difference with 113 goals scored. We scored 13 against Slask. That's ridiculous. That is utterly ridiculous. Did we win the FA Cup? We did as well against the second division side. We beat them 7-3 in the final. We love a high-scoring game, don't we? So much like Season 1, we have done the double, winning the Ekstraklasa and winning the FA Cup. We're going to go into the Champions League next season, which is good. Obviously, I don't believe our competition rating is high enough, so I feel like we still have to go through some qualifying rounds. But I'm hoping within the next couple of seasons, we can actually get into the Champions League properly, and I imagine get battered by most teams in the first couple of seasons, but eventually get good enough that we can kind of hold our own. So, the 3 players that we had locked in for the season. Baniak first up, they're now 18 years of age as a left-back, looking very, very good. 12 assists in the league, 16 in all competitions. Had a very good season. He is wanted by Juve, Porto and Rakow. One of those is not like the others. I feel like Baniak might be leaving in the summer, but because he's only 18 and he's not good enough to play for Juve or Porto, I imagine we'll probably get him back on loan for next season. On the left-hand side then, in his first season locked in, Christoph Mucha has done pretty good. 24 goals, 13 assists in all competitions, 14 goals coming in the Ekstraklasa as well. An average rating of a 7.12 in 48 games. I don't think he missed a single match. Nope, he definitely did, because Goralski played 52 games, scoring 31 with 25 assists from attacking midfield. That is my maths. That's 56 goal contributions in 52 games. That's ridiculous. That is utterly ridiculous. He is wanted by Napoli. Is Goralski going to leave as well? Are we going to lose Baniak and Goralski in the summer? I will say this now. If we lose any starred players but we loan them back, they count because they are from our youth intake. Obviously, if we loan one back for a season and then they go, it means we would have to replace them the following season. But if Goralski goes, what's an acceptable amount of money for Goralski? I'm thinking like 8-9 million with a hefty sell-on, but I can't imagine Napoli are going to want to do that. Other than Mucha and Goralski, Zahovic has scored a bucket load of goals, 26 of them in fact, and getting 9 assists. I think he missed a fair amount of football as well. And Vahan playing, I don't even know where, maybe on the right wing. Vahan might have been playing on the right wing, getting 28 goals and 11 assists. Can we see where he was playing? Yes, he was. Played on the right wing predominantly, did play as an attacking midfielder occasionally when called on, but for the most part, he was pushed out on the right-hand side and still played very well. We've also got 3 other players who have broken double figures as well for goals. Klakowski is one of them with 13. Ulvestad also getting 13 goals. I feel like he's a centre-back, right? They've been playing in defensive midfield. And Prisburek also breaking double figures with 12 goals and 11 assists. And speaking of assists, 2 more players to mention other than some of the ones we've already spoke about. Leo Borges, who would have been a left back. Surely you wouldn't have been a left back. He's done very well for playing as a centre back and getting, 2 goals he scored there, for fair enough. For getting the amount of assists that he did, which is 10 assists, playing predominantly as a centre back, that's pretty good. And another centre back, although I feel like he was probably playing as a right back, is Linus Valkvist, 24 assists. That's a lot of assists. He's wanted by lots of teams in Saudi Arabia. Was he playing as a right back? Yes, he was. Okay, that makes a lot more sense, because arguably, probably more of a centre back, but there we are. I've sorted this now by average rating for the season. So number 1 player is actually Linus Valkvist, Gorowski in 2nd, Vahans are 3rd, Prizbarek in 4th, Zahovic in 5th, Lonsar in 6th. He's pretty good. He just kind of does his job. He's a very good player for us. Same with Gamboa. Gamboa is a very good player. I don't think we see him too often, but he's useful. He's very useful for us. So actually, of the players locked in, Mucha and Baniak are down the list, but 7.12 and 7.10 is still very, very good. So I'm kind of okay with that. This does worry me. I feel like we're losing Baniak and Gorowski in the summer. We're going to have to wait and see.